Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, for years they told us that this was impossible, it was never going to happen, and especially recently they kept telling us that Donald Trump was never going to make this happen, that peace between Russia and Ukraine wouldn't be so simple. Donald Trump was simply naive, out of his depth. He's being played by Vladimir Putin. That's basically what the left-wing mainstream media told us, and yet, here we are again. They keep telling us President Trump is not going to be able to take a step forward, and then he takes a step forward, and then another one, and then another one. Well, here we are, we're officially headed to phase 3 of the negotiations. And think about how fast that was. The summit that Trump held with Vladimir Putin, that was phase 1, and that was what, like 2 days ago? You know, let's be conservative, let's say 4 or 5 days later, phase 3 is already confirmed and underway, and once again, reality completely undercuts the narrative. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so I actually want to start off with this viral hot mic moment. As the White House press was being pushed out of the room, President Trump and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni were actually caught on hot mic speaking. And well, take a look.
Oh, thank you for being so fair.
Thank you, Donald. All the time.
But he loves it, for he does it always. I never want to speak with my friend.
He's a very good player, golfer. You know?
You can hear European leaders joking with Trump, saying you have to deal with this press every single day. Of course, referring to the constant heckling and ridiculous leading questions coming from these mainstream press goblins. Well, that was obviously an interesting viral moment that took the internet by storm, but I personally find that it was also a moment that kind of tells you everything. Because while the media is selling the story that Trump is isolated, he's hated, impossible to work with, the Europeans want nothing to do with him. Again, reality beats the narrative. This is the real dynamic. This is what's actually happening behind the scenes. There's a huge gap between what's actually happening amongst these world leaders and what the media is presenting to the public. And frankly, I think that gap is showing very clearly across this Ukraine process. Because what do we see today? We see a bunch of these major European leaders at the White House now signaling support for supplying security guarantees to Ukraine. Donald Trump has isolated America, yet here he stands, rallying our European allies. They tell you that the Europeans don't respect President Trump, yet clearly it's the European leaders who don't respect the lying, lamestream frickin' media. Seems they have a whole lot more respect for President Trump than any of these fake news hacks. And honestly, I think that's exactly what was on display today. This meeting was productive.
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this meeting and for your commitment. I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace.
I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed thanks to you. If we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace.
We are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest. Stop the killing.
I think if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm really excited.
I think in the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5 years.
And now following this productive meeting, we're getting a huge development. We're getting reports that Zelensky is now open to meeting with Vladimir Putin himself. So just think about that. We're officially moving into phase 3. I got this report here from the Post Millennial. Breaking, Trump is now working to set up a meeting between Putin and Zelensky after a call with Russian president. And so basically, after all the naysaying, he's doing it. Donald Trump is doing all of it. We are now talking about Putin and Zelensky now sitting down face to face to negotiate a real peace agreement. So much for impossible, more like it's happening. And while clearly it's not going to be simple, it's not going to happen overnight, which is what the Democrats keep capitalizing on. Ooh, it's bad because Donald Trump didn't achieve everything in 24 hours. Well, even though it's not happening in 24 hours, you cannot deny the undeniable progress, moving step by step in the right direction. And the most important question is, who made it possible? Well, it's President Donald J. Trump. All the Democrats did was pour negativity. All they did was inject venom into this entire process. They've actively rooted for failure, and actually, ironically enough, now it seems as though the narrative has fallen so far off a cliff, things are going so well in these peace discussions that even top Democrats are now breaking ranks. Don't take my word for it. Here's Harold Ford Jr. on Fox News basically saying that if Donald Trump gets this done, he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
I'm only saying I'm not saying you're saying this. My only point is I give President Trump tremendous credit for where we are. And if he is able, again, to engineer this deal, we've been saying for weeks on this show, I would be the first. I would hope you would invite me down to the White House when the president is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, because he would absolutely deserve it.
Oh, and it's not just him, by the way. It's also Hillary Clinton, of all people.
If he could bring about the end to this terrible war where Putin is the aggressor, invading a neighbor country, trying to change the borders, if he could end it without putting Ukraine in a position where it had to concede its territory to the aggressor, had to, in a way, validate Putin's vision of greater Russia, but instead could really stand up to Putin to make it clear there must be a ceasefire, there will be no exchange of territory, and that over a period of time, Putin should be actually withdrawing from the territory he seized in order to demonstrate good faith efforts, let us say, not to threaten European security. If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Although, of course, I'm sure you caught on to Hillary Clinton's little trick here. She basically set up an impossible scenario. If Donald Trump is able to get it done without sacrificing any land, well, then I'd nominate him for sure. She basically sets up an impossible scenario, knowing that Ukraine is going to have to give something up. But either way, I still appreciate the rhetoric. The point is, we went from Trump is getting played, Vladimir Putin is getting everything he wants. We went from that to now it looking pretty good. And it's also got me thinking, remember when the Democrats were trying to convince us that Donald Trump was a failure and that Donald Trump was going back on all of his promises? Well, I don't know about you guys. The way I'm seeing it, it seems like President Trump is delivering on almost everything. This guy is just delivering. He's firing on all cylinders, tirelessly working the phones. He already called Vladimir Putin. He's meeting with all these world leaders. He's getting everybody to the table, making tangible progress. The most important thing is the tone. You know, tensions have clearly dropped. The tensions are, of course, still high. The stakes are high. But the tension, the tension in the room, the heat has certainly dropped. And President Trump gets all the credit there. He's doing what they told you was impossible. He's doing what other politicians would never have the balls to do. He's putting his own neck on the line. He's going against the conventional wisdom and whatever the warmongers are saying, and he's getting both sides to the table. And look, I really think it's going to end up happening here. I think we're going to see a peace agreement finally achieved, and when that happens, boy, are Democrats going to look like complete frickin' idiots. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.